Hello dear learners, welcome to SWAYAM NPTEL course on methodology of educational research, and I am Dr. Saritanand from Department of Education, Vinay Bhavan Vishwabharati, and today we will talk about the module 30 on rationale and steps conducting a mixed methods research in education. It is lecture 30, and before going to the lecture we will go through the concepts covered. Earlier we had discussed about the narrative analysis, theoretical foundations of narrative analysis, different types of narrative analysis, and also data collection methods in this research. Methods of narrative analysis in educational researches and its limitations also. And now we will talk about the today's topic, that is the mixed method research in the perspective. So, before going to the lecture, I want to mention that this lecture is connected with the mixed method research topic, which I have already delivered in the lecture in previous classes, but one of the point was missing in this mixed method research. So, I am continuing with this mixed method perspective in today's lecture. So, about the mixed method research, it is emerged as a distinct research methodology in late 1980s, and an understanding of its historical development is essential for providing a sound relation or sound rationale for its use. Over the past 3.5 decades, mixed methods research has matured into a comprehensive methodological framework with clearly articulated components, including the formation of research problems, data collection and data analysis, interpretation and reporting of the finding. Here if we are discussing about the mixed method research, we should understand that if we are watching or studying the books like mixed method research by Creswell, so there is a long journey behind this. Few points were missing, so that I am talking or dealing or filling up those in this lecture. So, it has been described as the third methodological movement by Tashakori and Teddy, and its name are already taken in the mixed method lecture. So, complementing the long established quantitative and qualitative tradition. So, these two research methods were there, quantitative and qualitative, but this third methodological movement was giving the mixing opportunity for the researchers. Positioned between these two approaches, mixed methods research intentionally incorporates the elements of both. So, when we are talking about the mixed method research, several authoritative works have documented the evolution of the mixed method research by John Creswell and Clark in 2018, Teddy and Tarakosi in Tashakori in 2009, and the methodology began to take shape between the 1985 to 1990, when the scholars from diverse disciplines such as education, management, sociology, medicine and independently published books and articles advocating the integration of qualitative and quantitative approaches in the research. So, both by the late 1990s, foundational text formally articulated mixed methods as a coherent methodology. The publication of Handbook of Mixed Methods in the Social Science and Behavioral Sciences in 2003 marked as the significant milestone by defining the scope of structure of the field. So, when we are studying the mixed method research, we should know that the establishment of Journal of Mixed Methods Research in 2007 further strengthened the methodological identity of mixed methods research, and institutional recognition followed by, notably when the US National Institute of Health issued formal guidelines on best practices for mixed methods research in health sciences. So, it was getting the more reach or more acceptance in the academics in different fields. The formation of the Mixed Methods International Research Association MMIRA in 2014 reflected that growth of a global scholarly community, and subsequently formal training programs and workshops were introduced at leading universities, and mixed methods standards were incorporated into the publication manual of the American Psychological Association in 2020. So, signaling widespread acceptance of the mixed methods research. Today, mixed methods research is widely applied across discipline, supported by a growing body of methodological literature and empirical studies. Meaning of mixed method research in education, especially I am talking about the education. In previous lecture of mixed method research, we were talking about the general concept. Now, we are focusing on the education itself. Mixed method research in education refers to systematic methodological approaches that intentionally integrates quantitative and qualitative research methods within a single study or a program of inquiry to address the complex educational problems. Rather than treating quantitative and qualitative approaches a competing paradigm, mixed method research recognizes their complementary strength and combines them to generate deeper and more comprehensive insights. According to John W. Creswell, mixed methods research involves collecting, analyzing and integrating both numerical data like test score, survey response, and non-numerical data like interview, observation on document analysis to better understand the research problem. In educational context, this integration is particularly valuable because teaching learning processes, assessment practices and classroom interactions, teacher belief and policy implementation or multidimensional and other contexts are dependent. So, when I am teaching in the classes, I always refer the Creswell's book for the mixed method research. Similarly, Tasha Corey and Teddy conceptualized mixed methods as a third methodological moment, and that enables researchers to draw the meta inferences conclusions derived from the integrated interpretation of the both qualitative and quantitative findings. Thus, mixed method research in education is not merely the parallel use of two methods. Remember, only using two methods from one quantitative and qualitative is not the mixed method research, but a purposeful integration. This integration is important. Purposeful integration aimed at enhancing understanding, validity and applicability of the findings of the research. Now, the characteristics of mixed method research, many things I have already discussed and a few are new. The understanding the historical growth of mixed methods research provides a useful foundation of framing its within dissertations and research studies. Although several alternatives terms appear in the literature such as multi-method research, integrated research or mixed methodology, the term mixed methods research has gained widespread acceptance. That is why when we are going to integrate both the researches qualitative and quantitative, then we are using the term mixed methods researches. Mixed methods research. It is important to distinguish between the mixed methods research from multi-method research, which involves multiple techniques within either qualitative or quantitative tradition, but do not integrate both of them purposefully. So, the key defining characteristics of mixed method research include the collection of both qualitative and quantitative data to address the research problem, integration of two data sets which is central to the methodology, use of clearly specified mixed methods research design to guide the integration, analysis of integration through joint display such as tables or figures that expose the qualitative and quantitative findings, development of meta inferences, which are conclusions drawn from the combined interpretation of both the data sets. Framing the study within the researchers worldwide worldview, values and the relevant theoretical perspective. So, a mixed method section in a research proposal or research report when you are writing should begin by defining the methodology, outlining these core characteristics and justifying its selection. Because today's lecture is focusing on the rationale of using mixed methods research. So, there are numerous reasons for adopting the mixed methods research. Researcher may have access to both qualitative and quantitative data, receive recommendations from the supervisor or meet funding agencies, or seek to apply an emerging and robust methodology. So, beyond these practical considerations, mixed method research enables deeper exploration of data, allowing insights to emerge that would not possible through a single approach. Mixed methods research is particularly suitable to studying the complex contemporary problems that requires both numerical evidence and personal perspectives. For instance, during public health crisis, statistical data may describe trends, while qualitative accounts illuminate the public attitudes and experiences. This methodology is also increasingly encouraged by funding agencies and professional organizations worldwide. Now, the primary value of mixed methods research lies in the insight gained through the integration. So, how this integration is going on? Such as achieving a more comprehensive understanding of a research problem, explaining quantitative findings through the qualitative evidence, refining instruments, scale, measurements based on the participants' feedback, strengthening experiences, experiments, interventions by incorporating human experiences, developing and comparing cases across the context, evaluating programs using both outcome data and process information, understanding the need and experiences of marginalized groups through multiple forms of evidence. So, this was about the mixed method research. Now, people can ask that why to use mixed method research in education? What is the logic behind that? Educational research frequently addresses the problem that cannot be adequately explored through a single methodological lens. The rationale of adopting mixed method research lies in its ability to capture both outcome and the process, measurement and meaning and generalization and the context. So, at a conceptual level, mixed methods research is justified because quantitative methods explain what work, how much work and to what extent it will work. Then quantitative methods explain how, why and under what conditions educational phenomena occur. So, these two aspects are taken care by the mixed method research. That is why we can go for the mixed method research in our researches, either it is PG level or PhD level. Now, at a practical level, mixed method research enables educational researchers to compare and corroborate findings from qualitative and quantitative data. We call it triangulation. Explain unexpected or contradictory statistical results through qualitative follow up, and develop contextually grounded tools such as achievement tests, attitude scales or assessment rubrics. Enrich experimental and quasi-experimental studies by incorporating participants' lived experiences. Examine both the processes and outcomes of the educational interpretation and program and policies. And at a methodological level, mixed method research reports stronger validity and credibility they are having, and integration of data helps reduce the limitation inherent in relying solely on only one approach of research. So, there are few terminologies of mixed method research. This is this image I have taken from the Creswell and Creswell's books in 2023. This is the latest edition of the book, and I will suggest you all that if you are a researcher, you are a learner at the PG level, at least you can purchase the book of Creswell for mixed methods research, book of Cohen and its Morrison, then John W. Best, and in from the Indian authors you can use for A.K. Singh and Lokesh Kaul type of books, because these are the reference books, and for your insight you should definitely read or go through one or two books. Here in this image you can see which is mentioned in the Creswell's books, and I have just taken the screenshot from that, so that you can go through. I could have been generated it or created this image, but I have taken it as it is mentioned in the book, because the major terminology should be understood by the learners. Here you can see they tried to mention that how research of mixed method research works. So, started with the collecting the two types of data to study the problem or question, the two types of data, then connects the two types of data, then uses the procedure of connecting the data, analyzing these connections, then draws the conclusions of insight and interpretation of both the data, and frames the worldwide theories or the conclusion of this data. So, let us take one by one. The first one is the open-ended data, refers to the information collected without predetermined responses, options, and allowing the participants to express their views in their own words. This type of data is typical of interviews or observation and document analysis. Then closed-ended data consists of structured responses with fixed options, and we call it restricted response questions, such as rating scales or surveys items. Distinguishing between open-ended and closed-ended data provides greater clarity than simply contrasting numerical and textual data. Then third word is research design, refers to the overall plan guiding a study from philosophical assumption to data interpretation. In mixed methods research, the design specifies how qualitative and quantitative data are collected, analyzed, and interpreted. Then integration. This integration is the soul of the mixed method research, because the core process of mixing of qualitative and quantitative data is here occurs in the integration. The integration may involve merging data sets, connecting one phase to another, or embedding one data set within a broader framework depending on the research design which you are using. Then joint display are visual or tabular representation that bring qualitative and quantitative findings together and enabling the systematic comparison and interpretation, and easy to understand by the readers of your research report. The meta inferences are higher order conclusion draw from integrated analysis going beyond separate qualitative and quantitative interpretations. So, these were the terminology of mixed methods research as per the Creswell. Now, the qualitative and quantitative data collection in the mixed method research learning emerges not only by the separate, but the integration which I have mentioned. Researchers are encouraged to clearly specify both types of data sources in their proposal, also in the report, often through a table that details the instrument, participants, and data characteristics, that who will be the participants, what instrument you are using, and what kind of data will be collected through these instruments. When both form of data are available, mixed method research offers an opportunity to enhance the understanding through systematic data mining, or we call it curating. So, steps of conducting a mixed method study in education, let us go through it. So, different step in a short form I have mentioned it in the previous lecture also. So, let us elaborate it. So, conducting a mixed method study in the educational field involves selecting an appropriate design, collecting qualitative and quantitative data, interpreting the database or data set, presenting the integration through joint displays and drawing meta inferences, and it requires careful planning and systematic execution. Although the steps resembles those quantitative and qualitative researches, special attention is given to the integration at each stage. This integration is important. This process allows researchers to move beyond parallel analysis and generate deeper insights through purposeful combination of data. We start with the step 1, that is identification of the research problem. Every research is starting with this point. The process begins with the identifying a complex educational problem that warrants both quantitative and qualitative investigation. Such problems often involve multiple variables, stakeholders' perspective or contextual influences. For example, effectiveness of digital pedagogy, teacher professional development, inclusive education practices or assessment reforms. The second step is justification for using mixed method research, because when you will go for the vivas, the examiner will definitely ask that why you are going to use mixed method research. So, this justification is very important. The researcher must clearly justify why mixed methods research is necessary in their study. So, we call it rationale of the study, and this justification explains how combining qualitative and quantitative approaches will provide a better understanding of the problem than either method alone. So, third step will be selection of an appropriate mixed method design. The researcher will select the suitable mixed methods design, such as convergent design, that is simultaneous collection and integration, explanatory sequential design, that is quantitative followed by the qualitative, and the exploratory sequential design, that is qualitative research followed by the quantitative data. This I had discussed in the previous lecture also in detail. The choice depends on the research objective, sequence of the inquiry, and the priority given by each strand, and especially by the chosen by the researcher. So, fourth step is development of research question. Mixed method studies typically include the quantitative research questions or hypothesis. Qualitative research questions are one or more mixed methods question that explicitly address the integration in the mixed method design. So, these questions guide the design, data collection and analysis procedure in the research. The fifth step is sampling and participant selection. Sampling strategies differ for each strand. Quantitative sampling often uses probability or large samples. Qualitative samples relies on the purposeful selection. In mixed methods research, researcher must decide whether the samples are the same, nested or different across phases. So, maybe at the time of quantitative sampling, your sample will be different, and at the time of qualitative sampling, maybe sample is different. It depends on the researcher that same sampling or sample is utilized or the different. So, the next step is data collection. When you have decided that who will be your sample, what will be the sampling tool, then go for the data collection. Quantitative data may include survey, achievement test, rating scale or experimental measures, whereas the qualitative data may include the interview, focus group, classroom observation, reflective journals and documents. I am mentioning everything in the educational perspective. Data collection may occur concurrently or sequentially depending upon the design, and then the data analysis. You have collected the data, then go for the data analysis. Quantitative data are analyzed using statistical techniques, while the qualitative data are analyzed through coding, categorization, theme development. Each data set is first analyzed independently to maintain the methodological intentions, rigor, and then go for the next step for the integration of data. Integration is the defining step of mixed method research. It may occur through the different process, but remember this integration of data step you cannot leave, because if you are not integrating the data collected through either quantitative or qualitative method, your mixed method research will not complete. So, merging results during the interpretation, connecting one phase of data to another, embedding one data set within another data set. So, joint displays, narrative weaving or data transformation techniques are often used to support the integration in the mixed methods research. Then ninth step is interpretation and meta inferences. When you have integrated your data, then go for this step and the researcher interprets how qualitative and quantitative findings relate to each other. The final conclusion or meta inference reflect the combined meaning derived from both the data sets. And the last step is reporting and ethical consideration. The final report clearly explains the mixed methods design, procedure, integration strategies and ethical safeguards, because we have to follow the ethical rules and regulations. Transparency in the reporting enhances the trustworthiness and usability of the findings of your research. So, this was all about the leftover mixed methods research. Now, we can go for the conclusion that yes, mixed method research offers a good, useful, powerful and flexible framework for investigating the educational problems that demand both measurement and meaning. By integrating quantitative, qualitative approaches together, it enables educational researchers to provide context sensitive, valid and practically relevant knowledge useful for the education field. When conducted systematically and ethically, mixed methods research strengthens educational theory, informs classroom practices and supports the evidence based policy making and decision making by the policy makers and the administrators of the institution. So, this was all about the mixed method research, and here I have mentioned the references, whatever names I have mentioned, those are kept here. You can go through for further readings, and I hope you will go through the reference, and if there is any query, go for the discussion forum. Keep learning. Thank you.